Oh, it smells awesome.
This week, my journey of gastronomical discovery continues.
Look how fresh it is. The steam's so hot it burns my hand.
As I wander through the ancient souks of Tripoli in Lebanon,
Not bad for Australia.
Yes, Australia.
looking for inspiration and filling my tummy,
10 times better than any ice cream I've had at home.
before heading back to my kitchen for a modern-day Tripoli banquet.
I'm going to turn it around and try to do something a bit new. Haven't done it before, but I'm going to see how it works.
I love the flavours of the Middle East, and even better, taking that inspiration and creating something new in my own restaurant. But to really understand the food, you need to go to the source. And so, I'm off on a trip to search out age-old recipes and traditions of these ancient cultures. And then the fun part, bringing it to life in my own kitchen.
Wow. What an amazing view.
I'm in Tripoli, Lebanon's second largest city, on a journey to uncover this country's food traditions.
You know, I've got everything up here from the mountains all the way to the sea.
With its seaport, Tripoli has been an important trading city at the crossroads of Asia, Europe and Africa. To protect this abundance of goods and flavours, the citadel of Tripoli was built, and today provides one of the best views of the city.
But there's more to Tripoli than just views and citadels. It's also renowned for amazing sweets, seafood and street food. And from what I've been told, you can find all that right down there at the souk. So that's where I need to head.
On the way there though, there's one world-famous Middle Eastern dish I want to try on its home turf, the humble hummus.
Oh, it smells awesome.
And what better way to scrub up on my equally humble Arabic skills.
Wow, hummus. Yeah, I'd have one of those. Yeah, waqta.
The origin of hummus is a hotly contested subject, and just about every Middle Eastern country claims it to be their own. But if there's one thing everyone can agree on, it's the basic ingredients of chickpeas, tahini, lemon and garlic.
He just told me that he makes hummus with lahmeh, so hummus with meat and pine nuts and almonds. Looks awesome.
With hummus as the base, you can add any topping you like. Nuts, oil, chickpeas, paprika or meat. But just don't go asking for bread.
Some khabbaz? I just need some bread. I can't eat it with my hands. Awesome, okay.
Take your bread from the...
We grab the bread from the baker. That's awesome, you know, the fresh hummus straight from the shop. Fresh bread. Look how fresh it is, you know, you can just break. The steam's so hot it burns my hand. Where am I supposed to eat this? Back over here. There's no seats in the street. You buy the hummus from there, the bread from across the road, and then they slide you in a restaurant. So this is awesome. I wasn't exactly sure what I was ordering when I got there, but you know, as soon as you started mentioning a few things, saw the hummus, the laham, I wanted it straight away. So it shows a real community in work. Doesn't get any better than this. So here we are in the heart of Tripoli, right in the souk. It's a mayhem of activity. Kids running in and out in front of me, people pushing me left to right, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. Have a look at this. All the offal mixed up. I'd assume it's only for like a kebab or something.
I'm not fluent in Arabic, but the language of a challenge is universal.
Very good.
Very good, huh? Not bad for Australia.
Yes, Australia.
The knife was a little bit blunt. Now he's going to show me how it's done. A little bit faster than me.
Tam.
Shukran.
As well as offal, there's heaps of amazing produce here in the souk. My only problem, there doesn't seem to be a lot of English speakers.
Shukran. Halas.
Hi.
Hi.
You speak English?
Yeah. My Arabic's not the best.
Oh, yeah, I can tell. Where are you from?
From Melbourne.
Oh, okay. I'm from Sydney.
I'm visiting.
No, I actually live here.
Like here in Lebanon.
Yeah, I've been living here for 3 years. How about you?
We're filming a show.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking for the best food in Tripoli.
Well, you've definitely come to the right place. There's a really good Mughrabieh shop just down the corner.
Lead the way.
Okay.
How lucky was that meeting Feda? Mughrabieh originated in Tripoli, and I've used it a heap over the years, so I'm so excited to see it here on its home turf.
So is this a typical dish you'd find in Tripoli?
Yes, you would, and mostly it's eaten around Ramadan time.
Okay, but we're not in Ramadan now.
No, but
Just finished.
they still sell it anyway. This is one of the best Mughrabieh shops that you'll find in Tripoli. It's 100 years old, and the food is very, very nice.
Mughrabieh is pretty much just tiny white balls made from semolina.
It's coarse salmonella. He adds water.
And he just keeps moving it around.
Moving it around, stirring it around.
It must be hard not to clump it together.
Exactly, but that's why he's going so fast. So the more he adds water, the more he adds this salmonella, the balls will become bigger and bigger. He's been doing it for 18 years.
18 years?
So he started when he was...
Yeah, he looks 21.
little. Yeah, when he was like 2.
Do you think you could ask him if I could have a go?
في جرب يعمل شوي. هلا هو he said you suffer the consequences. He's not sure he can do it. You're gonna have to prove him wrong, okay?
I'll give it a go. Water first?
I have a feeling that it's not as easy as it looks. When in Tripoli.
Oh, you can feel it straight away. It starts to get really wet. I can understand why you have to move it around because it's already clumping underneath my hands.
Exactly.
Semolina?
You have to stir it in one direction, otherwise it will just start to
break it up.
Break out, exactly.
Oh, okay. It's not an easy job.
And this is a small quantity, mind you. He makes like 200 kilos.
200 kilos?
In 2.5 hours.
Show me these things. Is that good enough?
It's not too bad for the first time.
It's really not easy work. I'm sweating up like I'm in a sauna.
He reckons you've done a good job, but I mean, I don't know. I reckon you could have done a better job. But seeing that's your first attempt, I'll give you like a 7 out of 10.
It's harsh, but probably fair. And after building up such a sweat, I can't wait to try this tasty treat.
They cook it as you order, which is nice and fresh.
Mughrabieh is both the grains and the cooked dish, and it's kind of a Lebanese couscous. Ghee, onions and chickpeas are all added, and because you can never have enough flavour, a heap of cinnamon at the end.
And I suppose that cinnamon gives it that really nice smell.
Exactly, that's the main herb of the Mughrabieh, which is the cinnamon. Thank you.
Let's get into it.
Yep.
So just a little bit of the pickled turnip. The flavour's awesome. Like, it is a little bit fatty. You can taste all that ghee around your mouth. But as soon as you add the pickle, cuts it. But the real surprise is the onion, because the onion's steamed, so it's taken a lot of that harshness out, but it's really sweet. It tastes like the soup. It's a surprise.
So it was a good choice, huh?
Great choice. Took me to the right shop.
But if you really want nice, traditional Tripoli dish, you have to come to my house.
Well, you're going to cook for me.
I'll cook you the best fish at Samkeh Harra you've ever tasted.
If it's what Tripoli's about, I'm coming to your place.
Definitely.
Feda, the expat Australian, has promised to show me her recipe for Samkeh Harra, or chili fish. In return, I need to buy the fish. So I'm off to meet Feda's husband, Mohammed, who's going to help me navigate that madness of the Tripoli fish markets.
Hey, it's chaos in here.
Feda and Mohammed moved to Lebanon to raise their kids traditionally, and Tripoli is now well and truly their home.
It's just come in, hasn't it?
Yeah,
you can still see some of it moving.
Yeah, it's still moving, yeah. Even the restaurant from Beirut, they call from Beirut, the guy up there.
And it's a live auction from Beirut.
Yeah, it's a live auction from Beirut for the fish.
Tripoli has been a seafood town for centuries, and judging by the quality and freshness on offer, I'm not surprised.
That fish we're going to make Samkeh Harra.
Oh, that's the fish we're going to buy.
That called
that's going...
white group.
That's grouper.
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
White grouper is a common fish around here, but back home, I'd probably use a red snapper.
The flesh is really firm.
That's right.
It's like it's just been caught. Still got the guts in and everything.
Yeah.
Do they send them to get cleaned once you bought it, or do you have to clean it at home?
No, we can clean it here.
Oh, the guys will clean it for you.
Yeah, the guys clean it for us. Make it easy for the wife.
Yeah.
With our beautiful groper cleaned and gutted, it's back to Feda and Mohammed's 5th floor apartment. Unfortunately, the power's out in the lift for about 3 hours a day, and I've timed my visit really poorly.
So what do you think?
Yep, good size. I like your choice of fish.
Samkeh Harra is pretty much Tripoli on a plate. Great fish, flavoured with the many spices and ingredients that have passed through this port city.
So I'm just going to season the fish with salt, black pepper and white pepper. And now it's ready for frying. So we're just going to let it rest on each side for roughly 4 minutes.
I thought the Samkeh Harra was done in the oven. I've never seen it before.
Some people do bake the fish in the oven, depending on the size of the fish. But the Tripoli people fry it. That's the way my mum's taught me how to do it, and that's how I make it.
That's the way it's done.
Yeah, that's the way it's done.
You don't argue with mum.
No, you don't argue with mum, exactly.
Feda and Mohammed moved to Tripoli a few years ago. They wanted a totally different experience to what they've had in Australia, and now they call Lebanon home.
I thought the transfer from living in Sydney to living in Lebanon and seeing the way Lebanese people live, I thought that would be interesting for the kids to
And the kids are like, they go to a Muslim school, or?
No. They go to a Catholic school. Reason being is because it's just so close to my house. And because of all the conflict that happens in Lebanon, all the commotion and all the shooting and the fighting and stuff, it's better for me, it's safer for me to keep my kids closer to home. So I think the fish is ready.
That's beautiful. That's awesome.
Done.
The fish is left to rest for a while, so Feda sets me to work crushing garlic and coriander.
You're going everywhere, Shane.
Yeah, I know. I've never worked in such a small mortar and pestle.
No, I don't know.
You know, Samkeh Harra, Samkeh's the fish.
Samkeh's the fish and Harra is the chili.
The chili is the hot, yeah, hot.
Yeah.
So where's the chili come in?
Once you're done with that, we're just gonna chop one chili pepper, which is very, very hot.
Feda also adds some of her own homemade chili paste, plus a store-bought curry paste.
This is Indian chili powder that we get, which is made into a paste. It's really, really hot.
Oh.
It's extremely hot, I told you.
Yeah.
This is where the heat is gonna come from.
It's all added to the fish, inside and out.
Now we're just gonna have to make the tahini sauce.
The water and the tahini combine to become a white, runny sauce.
You let me know if it tastes all right.
I need more lemon.
Yep, definitely more.
Yeah.
lemon.
I want to get it right because I'm going to steal your recipe and you know I'm going to go serve it in my restaurant.
Okay, as long as you tell everyone you know that it's my recipe.
Yeah, I'll say
and
this
you
is
put my name in big
letters.
Big letters.
I'll say
I'm happy.
Centrepoint Feda.
Centrepoint Feda. Ex-Arab bank girl. Okay, so this is going to be our last step of making Samkeh Harra.
Yeah, good.
So I'm just going to fry that a little bit. Our tahini sauce is going to go into
all
chicken.
of it?
Yep, all of it, definitely. And we're just going to put this right here.
Oh, on the stove?
On the stove, because this has to cook with the fish.
Yeah, okay. That's awesome.
And that's almost done. Almost done.
That's really special, isn't it?
It doesn't take long.
Yeah,
It's
this is what we miss in, Australian food. This is beautiful.
Easy, non-complex food.
You're making me very hungry.
So it makes all
To finish it off, Feda adds coriander, paprika, and the ubiquitous toasted nuts.
It looks great. Can we eat it now? Because I'm really hungry.
Of course you can. It's all yours.
Just for me? Great.
Yep.
See you later.
Definitely. Bye.
Feda's awesome in the kitchen. She's not just an awesome person. She's a great chef. All these flavours aren't just the flavours of the Middle East that I love. They're flavours that go really well with fish. I'm definitely going to steal this recipe for my restaurant back home. Oh, it's smoking hot. The fish looks good.
Yep.
You're a lucky man, mate. You're taking Australia's best. Brought it back.
I'm really glad to have you over. Aussies are always welcomed in my house.
I'll remember that next time I come.
It's so easy to see why Feda and her family have returned here to Tripoli. The fantastic and ancient food traditions here have really inspired me. But my sweet tooth is really itching. And before I leave, there's one more treat I gotta try. And who better to help than the king of Tripoli sweets, Samkeh Harra.
Look how elastic it is. It's not like the ice cream that we know. It's got mastic in there, which it's a flavour, but it also gives it that elasticity.
Mastic is a resin harvested from pine trees, giving the ice cream a kind of pine tree taste. Sahleb, or orchid root, gives the ice cream its elasticity.
Now you want to see how it's elastic by trying it.
Yeah, I wanted to see how much pull there is in there.
Just bang it.
And then pull it up?
Yes, exactly. You see how it's getting elastic?
Yeah, it feels like glue, like something's been stuck in there. It's not like, conventional ice cream.
Yes, exactly. And it matures while banging it. More and more and more.
So that's making it stretchy and it's also giving it lightness?
Yes, exactly.
But I'll leave it to you, chef. It's like it's rolled in pistachio as well.
Exactly.
Jeez. I think in Lebanon you'd be in a lot of trouble if you had an allergy to nuts.
Yeah.
Everything's got nuts in it. Thank you, chef. Oh. It's a totally different texture than what we're used to. You almost have to chew this. And the flavour of it.
There's cream. Ashta.
There's ashta in there.
Yes.
And is it the orange blossom as well?
Yeah, sure.
It's 10 times better than any ice cream we've had at home. Being in Tripoli, there was so much going on. You know, all the smells of the souk, all the spices, down at the fish market, meeting people like Feda. You know, if you don't get inspired by meeting people like that, you're never going to get inspired. But I'm going to kick on first with my version of Samkeh Harra. I'm going to turn it around and try to do something a bit new. Haven't done it before, but I'm going to see how it works. I'm going to take the essence of Feda's dish and all those flavours that I remember. And the first thing I remember was that coriander. So I want to make up a really sort of fragrant coriander paste. But to get that heat, Feda used a couple of different types of chilli. She used her homemade chilli paste, but then she used a sort of Indian chilli paste that almost burnt my tongue out of my head. Oh.
It's extremely hot.
I'm going not Indian, not Lebanese. I'm going Asian. This stuff's great, and I use it for when I'm looking for heat in most of my cooking back in the restaurants. To finish that off, some ground coriander. If the fresh coriander is your treble, this stuff's your base, and a clove of garlic. Because you can't cook Lebanese food without a bit of garlic. Time for the fish. Chose some snapper fillet, left the skin on, and just asked my fishmonger just to clean it up for me. And all I'm going to do to that is just rub it in some of that paste, just like Feda did. But instead of frying it, I'm going to steam it first. I'm just hoping 15 or 20 minutes in that steamer, on a light steam, all that coriander and chilli flavour, it's going to get in the fish and not just on the fish.
To soak up all those flavours on the plate, I'm going to make a coriander sponge. This is the easiest sponge method in the world. I'm taking all your normal sponge ingredients, mixing it with the coriander. It's savoury, so I'm ditching the sugar.
Looks great.
And then comes the shortcut.
We're going to put this in one of our little soda siphons, and we're going to hit it a couple times with 2 gas canisters of CO2 and make it nice and light. So give that a good shake. Get all that air through the cake batter. We'll put that in the fridge for later on. So we'll just check that fish. That's starting to look really good. That the flesh has turned white, and just by pushing it, it's springing back, and that's what I want. So I'm just going to take off all that coriander paste. I kind of thought I might leave it on, but all the flavour that's actually gone into the fish, and you can see the flesh has changed colour. And I suppose it's that old chefy thing about how you can always put some more in, but you can't take it out. That fish is so beautiful, and I'm starting to think now if it's even worth frying it. Because I'm thinking if I put that in the fryer now, I'm going to lose all that beautiful juice and all that flavour, so maybe I don't need it.
But I'm missing the crunch. So to get that, I'm going to make some croquettes. I'm going to use up all my fish scraps together with some roasted potatoes that have been cooked on salt to remove all the moisture. Feda's dish had so much flavour, so I'm grabbing some herbs and spices with an egg, putting it in a bowl and bringing it all together.
So I always get a heap of flack about using my hands, but it's the best way to feel how moist that is, and that is spot on.
Feda used a lot of nuts in her dish, but I wanted to pull back a bit, so I'm going to roll my croquettes in a mixture of crushed almonds, pine nuts and pistachios, all bound together with some chickpea flour.
So I'm just going to roll those through that crumb and then fry it so it gives that crunch. So this is going to be our sole crunch component. And I think these croquettes are done. And I've done about as much prep as I can do in this dish. So I'm going to shoot over and start my next one and come back and finish this later.
Tripoli is the home of Mughrabieh, and the one I had in the soup was sensational. And it's really hard to top what I found back there. But hey, I'll give it a go.
So this is the real hero of this dish, the Mughrabieh. And already looks a lot different to the ones we saw, you know, in Tripoli. It's hard. I suppose it'd be crunchy. But you're not going to find some bloke making 200 kilos an hour of Mughrabieh in your local supermarket. So over to the onions. And this was one of the best bits I liked about the dish. There was these, well, looked like raw onions that were just so sweet, so crunchy, without any of that hardcore onion flavour. And what the guys told me is that they boil the onions first and then use that water when they're steaming the Mughrabieh. So I'm going to do the same.
You cook Mughrabieh the same way you'd cook pasta, about 10 or 15 minutes in boiling water. Tripoli is famous for its seafood, and if there's one spice that goes great with fish, it's cinnamon. At the Mughrabieh shop, he certainly wasn't shy with it, so I figured octopus and marron would probably be the perfect meat. Because you can taste all that ghee, I figured why not flavour it? So I've infused some ghee with some roast marron shells.
And that's what you end up with, an infused ghee. That can sit out at room temp, geez, I'd say at least a month. And if you remember the dish that he cooked in the souk, he wasn't shy with it. And when you're cooking shellfish, you want to cook it in a hot pan to really amplify the flavour. Some of that octopus. Got some cooked chickpeas, just tinned ones, in the pan. Like Lebanese couscous, Mughrabieh. I don't want to fry them, I just want them to suck up some of that ghee. Now, the onion's already been cooked, so we don't need to cook them for long. It's more just folding them through. Time for the cinnamon. Now, this was the key part of the dish that I smelt when we were in the souk and made me want to put shellfish with it. It's already smelling like the souk. I think a bit of fresh herb in there would be good. And mint goes beautiful with shellfish, really nicely with cinnamon. The moment of truth. Taste test. Spot on. Doesn't need anything else. This is definitely better than the one I had in the souk. And the one I had in the souk was pretty bloody special. Oh, that's great. And to be able to bring it to the 21st century with some of these gorgeous little heirloom radishes and turnips. Lebanese food just doesn't have to be hummus and tabbouleh. It can have some refinement. We're on something special there, and that's the proof.
Back to the Samkeh Harra, and with the coriander sponge now chilled, it's time to cook it. And the quickest way? How does 45 seconds sound? Meanwhile, the croquettes are flash fried.
Beautiful. Now the exciting bit, bringing it all together.
It's all about texture, so I've started with some tahini mayo.
This was going to be crunchy fried fish, but when I saw how beautiful it was when it came out of that steamer, it would have been a sin to fry it. And that sponge is really light. Oh, beautiful.
Feda's sauce was the star of the dish, so I've gone for a mix of soy, honey and chilli, whisked into the tahini.
It's all starting to come together. Some of our gorgeous soy tahini vinaigrette. We're doing this up for 4 people, so I want to make sure everybody gets a piece. It's always hard when you're plating up something that's got a bit of finesse as a sharing dish, because it's got a tendency just to look messy and a little bit of colour. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not exactly how I thought it would look, but it's pretty bloody close.
Tripoli, of course, is famous for its sweets. So what would this banquet be without a dessert? And that Busa ice cream I had was unforgettable.
The dish reminded me of a big kid's dessert, you know? It was ice cream, but it was fun and it was textural and there was heaps going on. So I wanted to sort of invoke those flavours. What I'm going to use, dehydrated strawberries, straight in the mortar and pestle. I don't want to break them up too much. I want them to still be crunchy.
Pistachio and fried mughrabieh add crunch before the final 2 ingredients.
The fun one is pop rocks. Remember these things when I was a kid? Put them on your tongue, wait a few minutes, and it's like a party on your tongue. It's all popping, and it's a real surprise. And they just add a little bit more fun to the dish. Not really any flavour. It's going to be a fun dessert. And some sumac. Sumac's the flavour of the souk, but it's going to add a really lovely zest against that sugar and that orange blossom that you're going to find inside the sahleb.
To give the ice cream its elasticity, I've added sahleb, or orchid root.
But it's not looking like ice cream at all. And to sort of turn this gooey, stretchy thing, turn it into ice cream, we need that cold element. When I saw those blokes pounding it, that big jug that he was smashing it in with that huge stick, that had ice all the way around it. And I haven't got ice, but what I have is some liquid nitrogen. You have to be really careful with it, and that's going to get it really cold, really quick. But already that's got really cold in there, and it's changed that consistency. It's so sticky. All right, one last ingredient. What the guys told me is they use ashter, so it's like a clotted cream. But I think that the creme fraiche is just going to give it a bit more zest, and it's a little bit easier to find. And that's just going to give it a bit of lightness, make it a bit more velvety. And I think we are done. Whew. Ice cream machine's heaps easier.
Just like in Tripoli, roll it in the nut mix.
You know, it doesn't need much more than that. And that's my Lebanese busa for the 21st century.
Tripoli's food has been shaped by trade and travellers, resulting in some really interesting dishes. But to get to the true heart of Lebanese cuisine, I need to head up into the mountains. And next week,
It's one of the most beautiful valleys I've seen.
I visit the mysterious sect of the Druze,
This is my type of dish. I love simple things like that.
where I learn the secret of mountain survival and preservation.
This one is beautiful.
You
Just
just-
pick it.
And I attempt to master the technique of the perfect kibbe.
Why is it everywhere we go, I end up doing the hard work?